Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, and we're back. I've decided to pick another bone with modern society. Our need for renewable energy. Will I debate that we need to figure that quark out? No, I won't. Our society is getting to the point where we need as much energy as we can get our claws on. And there's a lot of it that we don't use. For example, all that solar energy that really doesn't go to much of anything. And we'll start with solar. Right now, the way we're setting it up, solar energy takes up hundreds of acres, if not thousands of acres of farmland. And that doesn't do us any damn good. Because, yeah, we may make more electricity, but we lose food production. We lose farmers. So, that's not a viable option. Not to mention, solar panels are fragile and need repairs regularly, need cleaned to remain efficient. So when you set those out in the middle of nowhere, you need to have teams travel hundreds, if not thousands of miles a year with, in some cases, heavy equipment to get to locations that are remote to maintain those solar arrays. Why don't we make that system more efficient? Instead of putting it over farmland, let's put it over parking lots in the cities, in the suburbs. Put them over parking lots. Provide shade for vehicles that are parked out in the hot sun all day long. That will, one, solve the problem of vehicles always being ovens in parking lots, pushing off tons of extra heat into the environment. That problem will get solved. Problem 2, remote accessibility. Our people will be able to maintain those solar arrays more efficiently because they may not be as big, but they will be better located for maintenance personnel to take care of them and replace them when damaged. This alone would solve a plethora of the issues that come with the massive solar farms out in the middle of the country. It would also open up ground for natural rebuilding, open up ground for farming and wildlife. Why would we continue to run the risk of damaging our environment by taking up our environment for electric grid requirements when we've got ground that's perfect for it? We'll use my Walmart parking lot as a perfect example. There ain't hardly a dang tree in it. All day long, cars that sit in that parking lot bank. It takes about 30 minutes for a vehicle to become insanely uncomfortable, if not lethal. If we were to put solar panels over that parking lot, we'd be able to collect enough energy to easily run the entirety of that Walmart, as well as reducing the heat caused by the vehicles, when a system is damaged or corroded, it is much closer to a maintenance crew, because it's in town. You could train the city workers to maintain them. Or Walmart could hire a guy to maintain it, hence creating more jobs in a metropolitan area, and it'd be a well-paying job because you're maintaining part of the electrical grid. So you'd have better employment opportunities closer to home, and the maintenance of them would be much, much easier. Yet, for some reason, we're going out buying up farms, entire farms, and covering them in solar panels in a way that it's messing with the natural environment. I am a conservationist. I believe firmly in taking care of our big blue marble. Because at this point in time, without it, we ain't gonna fare too well. So, why don't we become more efficient with the use of things? Our Walmart distribution centers, anywhere with massive parking lots where vehicles sit, we could put these things in and mitigate the potential harm to our environment while vastly increasing our electrical output. Another advantage of that, during the day, you could, for all intents and purposes, have free EV charging. Vehicles could go sit in the shade and just run on the electricity that is being pumped out of the solar panels directly above them. You wouldn't need insane amounts of infrastructure. You would mitigate the pain that would come with trying to rebuild an entire infrastructure for charging EV vehicles. You would mitigate the cost. Because at this point, the cost of having an EV vehicle, one, they're incredibly expensive. Two, they don't go nearly as far. Three, the cost per mile is more. That's without even getting into the production of the vehicles and their batteries. The recycling and disposal of our renewable collection devices, we'll call it, windmills, solar panels, is non-existent. We put tons of research into making it possible. We didn't put nearly enough research into find how do we keep it and sustain it. We continue to put tons of research into new technologies. We need to find a way to make existing technologies sustainable. As it is, a solar panel gets damaged, there ain't much you can do with the darn thing. Our society has gone from a let's fix everything and keep it lasting forever to everything's disposable. We need to get back to where things are built to last, and rather than throw them away when they break, we fix them. Our landfills are filling up. We've got mountains of trash that we cover with dirt and plant some grass over it. That's good for the environment. Why don't we fix that problem? There are some of us who can't drive EVs. An EV would not be able to keep up with the amount of travel I do. It would not. I do at least 100 miles a day. One way. That doesn't include any driving once I'm in my area of operation. That's just one-way trip. EVs aren't to the point that they can sustain that level of travel. On top of that, the production of their batteries is horrific for our environment. We talk about carbon emissions. The carbon emission footprint of an EV vehicle over its entire life cycle, from start to finish, from start of production, where they start putting components together, assembling batteries, mining the materials for batteries, to the day it hits a scrapyard, if it makes it that far without bursting into flames, is higher than the carbon emission footprint of an internal combustion engine, because of how harmful the process of refining the elements needed for the battery is. We need to work on that efficiency before we go anywhere else with that technology. Even with the burning of fuel, a gas-powered vehicle puts less carbon into the atmosphere than an EV. Now, the end user, people like myself, aren't directly responsible for that carbon. Because yes, once we get to driving it up and down the road, we really don't put a whole lot of carbon out there. Granted, most of our power plants are coal or natural gas or whatever else we use to heat the water to spin the steam turbine. So we still do have a carbon footprint, but we're removed from it, so we don't see it. So we feel better about ourselves. Let's put more homework into nuclear energy. We have the technology. People are afraid of nuclear because we think bomb. Well, that's not how that works. That's a very, very special kind of radioactive isotope that's been heavily refined. It's not the same stuff as what's in a nuclear power plant. Just look at Chernobyl. Yes, it was a bad day. But did it delete the entire city that surrounded it? No, most everybody had the opportunity to get out of Dodge before things got anywhere near real bad. And that's in Russia, where they don't care about their people. Things don't move as quickly as they do here. They aren't monitored as heavily as they are here. Let's stop worrying about what we as an individual put out. Let's start working on our society as a whole. Look at the entire picture, people. Because as far as energy is concerned, it's not something we can fix on a us scale. We all have to work together and work on the entire problem. Because an individual, especially in my situation, does not produce a whole lot, especially compared to some of the elites out there. Look at I think there's a couple of stars out there, and I can't think of their names offhand. Big time climate activists use a private jet to get everywhere. They've got a carbon footprint 6 or 7 times the size of mine. And yet they lecture people like you and I about how bad we are for the environment. I'm done hearing it. The elites can kiss my yes. We'll play nice. Anyway, today's was more of a rant. Let's be better, folks. Y'all have a great day. Be safe. Be blessed.